Usually when we talk about a business monopoly being dismantled, you expect a really loud, messy corporate war.
Oh, absolutely.
Like endless litigation, aggressive price undercutting, PR smear campaigns, basically battering rams at the gates.
Right. It's usually a bloodbath.
Exactly. But today's deep dive into Chapter 11 of our source text, The Empire That Cannot Be Broken, well, it reveals a completely different kind of disruption. So welcome. Our mission today is to decode how a 22-year-old outsider named Anant Sharma managed to completely dismantle and redefine the deeply entrenched power structures of Indian cinema.
And he did it in less than 2 years.
Which is wild. And he didn't do it by attacking the fortress of Bollywood. He simply refused to acknowledge the gates even existed.
Yeah, it's the ultimate case study in what happens when a century-old ecosystem, one that's built entirely on legacy, family names, controlled access, comes face-to-face with a disruptor who is just completely unviable.
Right.
I mean, the traditional rules of engagement were entirely bypassed. And what makes it so fascinating to analyze for you today is how this disruption played out across every single pillar of the industry.
It wasn't just the movers themselves.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. We're talking the boardrooms, the distribution networks, the technology infrastructure, and finally the audience themselves.
And I think the craziest part we're going to unpack for you is that his most powerful marketing asset is his absolute absence from a spotlight.
Totally.
And the ultimate climax of this massive industry power shift, it doesn't even happen in a glamorous Mumbai studio.
Yeah.
It happens in a restaurant in Delhi. So let's just jump straight into the belly of the beast. Imagine you're sitting in the 20th floor boardroom of Yash Raj Films in Mumbai.
Oh, that's a scene.
Right? Arabian Sea, out the window, tinted glass, total opulent elegance. But inside this room, among industry titans like Aditya Chopra, Karan Johar, Sajid Nadiadwala, there is absolute unfiltered panic.
Yeah, they were framing this as a strategy meeting, but looking at the sources, this was clearly a council of fear.
A council of fear. I love that. Because they were genuinely terrified.
Oh, they were sweating. I mean, the data Sajid Nadiadwala presented at that table would terrify any legacy executive. They're looking at an outsider whose recent film, Uri, just generated 450 crores.
Which is roughly 4.5 billion rupees, an absolute blockbuster by Indian standards.
Exactly. And then his other film, MS Dhoni, crosses 1,000 crores worldwide in a single month. But the box office revenue is really only a symptom of the actual problem that's keeping them awake.
Right, because making money shouldn't scare a movie studio.
Exactly. It's the polling data. The polling data reveals a 94% urban name recognition for Anant with an 89% favorability rating.
Wow.
For context, established generational stars usually hover around like 60 to 70%.
That's a massive gap.
It is. And when audiences were asked, which actor makes you most likely to watch a film, this 22-year-old with only 2 films under his belt ranks second overall, beating out veterans with 50-plus films.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because I was looking at that metric and thinking about it from a purely corporate lens. It's like a massive tech monopoly being completely flummoxed by an open source startup.
That is a really good analogy.
It makes you wonder, right? Is the fear in that boardroom merely about losing market share to Anant's box office numbers? Or is it that his mere existence suddenly exposes the systemic mediocrity of their nepotism-heavy model?
Oh, the sources make it very clear they knew it was the latter. I mean, Karan Johar openly admits in this meeting that 3 recent launches of star kids...
Which are actors from established film families, for those who might not know.
Right, exactly. So 3 of those recent launches have totally failed at the box office, because the audience now has Anant as a benchmark.
They've seen what actual talent looks like.
Exactly. They're looking at these highly marketed, legacy-backed launches and basically asking, well, why should we settle for mediocrity when we know what excellence looks like?
He broke the grading curve.
He really did.
It's like he served the audience a Michelin star meal, and now the studio executives are panicking because nobody wants their fast food anymore.
Yeah, and Aditya Chopra, who has a reputation for being incredibly ruthless and pragmatic, he actually articulates this harsh truth to the room.
What does he say?
He says, this is entertainment, not a welfare system for film families.
Wow. That is a massive paradigm shift.
It really is. The gatekeepers realize their gates are useless because the audience has decided they value merit over legacy.
But, in standard corporate warfare, when a monopoly faces a threat like this, they use a specific playbook. They either try to destroy the threat with negative PR, or they try to buy it. So why couldn't they deploy those tactics here?
Well, they certainly tried the first one. They dug into his past at university, expecting to find, like, the typical arrogance or scandals associated with sudden fame.
Sure, finding dirt is step one.
Right. But instead, they found professors and peers who universally praised his character. Even his family background was weaponized against their narrative.
Wait, how so?
So his father actually attended the National School of Drama, which is India's premier acting institute. But he kept it a secret his whole life, specifically. So Anant would never be accused of using family connections or nepotism to get ahead.
Oh, wow. Talk about a bulletproof narrative. I mean, if a studio attempts to spin a smear campaign against a family that principled, it would spectacularly backfire.
Oh, totally. It would just make the studios look petty and corrupt,
Right.
which took destruction entirely off the table.
So that leaves assimilation. Buy him out.
Exactly. The industry attempted to buy his compliance. Ronnie Screwvala put an offer on the table for a guaranteed 50 crore 3-film deal.
50 crores.
Yeah. We're talking about massive, instant generational wealth, coupled with a promise of complete creative control and profit participation.
Which could have easily doubled the payout.
Easily.
And Anant's response to this blank check was just a polite no.
Yeah, he simply told him he chooses films based on stories, not contracts.
That is just mind-blowing.
And the fallout from that rejection is crucial here. Ronnie Screwvala and director Aditya Chopra actually leaked the story of this rejection intentionally.
Wait, why would they leak their own rejection?
Because they wanted to create a protective barrier of public perception around Anant. Because, as Aditya Chopra realizes in that boardroom, if a 22-year-old turns down 50 crores for the sake of his craft, he is motivated by a value system entirely outside of their corporate control.
You cannot pressure or manipulate a man who genuinely does not care about the money.
Exactly.
So the studios are paralyzed because their only two levers, fear and greed, are completely broken.
Right.
But while the Mumbai production houses are, sweating through their designer suits over this financial unpredictability, another faction of the industry is experiencing the exact opposite emotion.
Oh, they are absolutely thrilled.
The distributors, they're popping champagne.
If you look at the boardrooms of AA Films and PVR INOX, these are the massive exhibition chains, and represents an unprecedented, predictable cash flow.
Because of the repeat viewings, right?
Yes. The economic holy grail of cinema is repeat viewership.
Yeah.
I mean, your marketing costs are already sunk, so every repeat ticket purchased is pure margin. And the data showed audiences were going to watch MS Dhoni 3, 4, maybe 5 times.
That's incredible.
Some fanatics were going 10+ times.
Okay, but that level of repeat viewership isn't just a testament to his acting. It actually creates a massive logistical challenge for theaters managing crowds at all hours.
Oh, yeah.
It was a logistical nightmare for a bit.
Which is exactly what led to a really fascinating moment detailed in the sources.
Yeah.
So Anant is casually touring a PVR theater before the Dhoni premiere, doing a quick inspection, and he drops this offhand suggestion.
Yeah.
He notes that late-night moviegoers are probably exhausted and hungry, but they don't have time for a full dinner before 10 p.m. show. So he suggests integrating a premium fine dining service directly into the viewing experience.
And PVR INOX actually took that passing comment and built out the infrastructure. The financial return was just staggering. They achieved 85 to 90% occupancy even on weekdays. On weekdays. That never happens.
Right. And they were sustaining a 40 to 50% ticket markup for the dining experience.
So here is where the business ethics of this story get genuinely shocking. PVR sees this literal mountain of cash they're making off his idea, and they go back to Anant to offer him a significant equity stake in the venture.
And he turns them down.
He turns it down. He tells them his team didn't execute the operations, he merely made a passing comment, so it wouldn't be ethical to take ownership of their hard work.
It's just wild.
I do want to push back on this, though. I mean, we could frame this as him just being incredibly naive about business, right? Like he's leaving millions on the table.
Mm-hmm.
But does turning down that equity actually buy him something far more valuable in the long run? Like unshakable institutional loyalty.
Oh, 100%. The long-term return on that decision is immense. You have to remember, this is an industry defined by immense egos and people constantly trying to extract every last cent of value from every single deal.
Everyone wants their cut.
Exactly. So Anant's integrity acts as a systemic shock. The distributors realize he is trying to holistically improve the cinema-going experience, not just drain the industry of capital.
Wow.
And the immediate result of that trust is that major distributors are now blindly committing their maximum screen count to Anant's future projects.
Wait, they're committing the screens without even seeing a script or a trailer.
Without seeing anything. If he says yes to a project, the theaters consider it bankable.
That is next-level leverage. He essentially gave away a $1 million business model for free, and in return, he secured total distribution dominance for the rest of his career.
Basically, yeah.
But, as wild as that executive trust is, it actually pales in comparison to the almost religious devotion he inspires in the general public.
Oh, the fandom is something else.
And it's all driven by a lifestyle that breaks every single rule of modern celebrity.
You're looking at the phenomena of the blank canvas of fame. I mean, we live in an era where every celebrity overshares their breakfast, their gym routine, their airport outfits just to manufacture engagement.
Right. It's exhausting.
It is. But Anand has zero social media presence. No romantic scandals, no paparazzi leaks.
And highly counterintuitive. In a world optimized for constant noise, his complete silence actually makes him the most talked-about star in India.
Yeah, that silence is a masterclass in the psychology of scarcity. By providing zero mundane details about his personal life, he avoids audience fatigue. But more importantly, the public is forced to project their own ideals onto him.
He becomes a cultural mirror.
Precisely. Parents look at him and they see a respectful, grounded son. Students see a pure, merit-based success story.
The sources outline how his fans, who, by the way, call themselves the Anand Army,
Yeah, the Anand Army.
they actually replicate this grounded behavior. Toxic fan wars online are practically a competitive sport in celebrity culture right now.
Oh, absolutely.
But Anand's fans organize matching donations for rural education initiatives. They support traditional arts. Because their idol refuses to engage in toxicity, the fandom polices itself.
He accidentally engineered a massive cultural movement for merit and decency.
And brands are absolutely desperate to tap into that authenticity. The commercial leverage this creates has to be staggering.
Well, the endorsement rejection figures in the text highlight this perfectly. He rejected a 20-core offer from a major soft drink brand simply because he doesn't consume soft drinks.
20 crores.
And he walked away from 15 cores for a motorcycle brand because he doesn't ride motorcycles.
Which has to be a nightmare for traditional marketers. Like, what do you mean we can't just pay you?
Right. But I imagine the flip side is an incredible phenomenon called credibility transfer.
Ooh, credibility transfer. What's that?
Well, when he does endorse a product like the EdTech platform or the sustainable fashion brand mentioned in the sources, products he actually uses, those companies experience 300 to 400% growth almost overnight.
Because it's no longer viewed as a paid celebrity endorsement.
Exactly. The audience knows he cannot be bought, so if he tells you a product is good, you implicitly believe him.
That is so powerful.
And that level of credibility extends far beyond consumer brands, too. It actually bleeds into the highly specialized world of film technology.
Okay, yes. We have to talk about this. Because underneath the fame, Anant is a profoundly gifted engineer.
Yes. The text notes, he secured an Air 8. For those unfamiliar with the Indian education system, that means he achieved the all-India rank of 8 out of hundreds of thousands of students testing for the Indian Institute of Technology, or IIT.
Which is essentially the MIT of India.
Exactly.
I am so glad you brought this up because this is where the disruption becomes truly structural. We aren't just talking about a popular actor anymore. We are talking about a literal engineer who is casually rebuilding the foundational infrastructure of filmmaking between starring in blockbusters.
Yeah, he leads a VFX startup called Maya VFX, and he actually developed a proprietary compression algorithm. The text says they achieved a 40% reduction in file size while maintaining theatrical quality.
How does it even work?
Well, they combined wavelet transforms with machine learning. To understand the magnitude of that technological leap, think of standard digital compression like packing a suitcase by shoving your clothes inside.
Okay, you save some space, but you crush the clothes.
Right, you damage the quality. Wavelet transforms combined with AI act like a smart packing robot that knows exactly which individual fibers can be folded tighter without wrinkling.
Wow.
So it gives you 40% more space without losing any of the original shape.
That makes perfect sense, but what is the actual business implication of that 40% reduction for the film industry?
Well, it drastically cuts post-production rendering times and archival storage costs, obviously.
Yeah.
But the true game changer is distribution.
Right.
India has thousands of single-screen theaters in rural, remote areas with highly limited internet bandwidth. Historically, they just couldn't download massive, high-quality digital cinema packages.
So they were missing out on the big visual spectacles.
Exactly.
Mm.
But Anant's compression technology allows high-end, visual effects heavy cinema to be distributed digitally to these remote areas effortlessly. He essentially democratized the distribution of high-end cinema.
That's incredible.
And furthermore, he developed color grading filters optimized specifically for Indian lighting conditions and South Asian skin tones.
Mm.
It completely replaced the imported Hollywood solutions that never looked quite right.
And this naturally catches the attention of Dolby, the American audio and visual technology giant.
Yep.
But reading the sources, this isn't a standard corporate handshake, is it? Historically, Western tech giants operate in India as service providers like you pay them a massive licensing fee to use their tech, or they use India as a cheap IT outsourcing hub.
Exactly. But Dolby forms a peer-to-peer partnership with Maya VFX. They are co-developing technology and setting up a joint research facility in Mumbai.
The geopolitical shift there is massive. Thanks to a 22-year-old actor-engineer, India is being positioned as a global innovation center, not just a consumer market.
It's huge. American technical journals are suddenly publishing academic papers about his machine learning applications in color science.
It's an unprecedented synthesis of skills. I mean, he possesses massive box office draw, flawless personal integrity, the blind trust of theater chains, and cutting-edge technical brilliance.
He effectively conquered the northern film industry, the traditional Bollywood ecosystem.
Right, but India has multiple massive film industries, often divided by language and geography, and this very specific, incredibly rare combination of traits is exactly what is needed to solve a massive crisis brewing down south in Tollywood.
Oh, yes. To understand the climax of this shift, we have to travel down to Hyderabad, to the office of visionary director S.S. Rajamouli.
Rajamouli is sitting on a project called Baahubali, and for context, this is an epic mythological tale with a 250 crore budget.
Which is completely unheard of for regional Telugu cinema at the time. It is a massive financial gamble.
But the project is dying before production even begins.
It's basically on life support. Rajamouli has the script, he has the unprecedented budget, the technical team is ready, but he doesn't have his leads.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Both Prabhas and Rana, the massive regional stars he needs, are locked into other shooting schedules for the next 18 to 24 months.
Which is an eternity in film production.
If Rajamouli waits 2 years, the financing will collapse, the technical crew will disperse, and the momentum of the project will just die permanently.
So he needs to cast it immediately. But the casting requirements for this specific role are incredibly difficult to fill.
Very. He needs someone with a massive physical presence, minimum 6 feet tall, who is capable of surviving intense physical training for armor and combat sequences.
But they also need the emotional weight to carry a mythological epic, right? Conveying both nobility and vulnerability.
Exactly. And that specific combination is unavailable in the Telugu industry at that exact moment. Plus, Rajamouli is deeply skeptical that a Bollywood actor from Mumbai could understand the nuanced South Indian cultural sensibility without feeling imported or inauthentic.
Because the industries are highly siloed.
Yeah, Bollywood historically viewed regional cinema as provincial, and regional cinema viewed Bollywood as overly commercialized and disconnected from traditional roots.
Which brings us to a moment that feels straight out of a movie script itself.
It really does.
Rajamouli is pacing his sun-baked office, incredibly stressed out, when a gust of wind blows a magazine clipping onto his floor.
Just out of nowhere.
Right. He picks it up, and it's a full-page photo of Anant in his MS Dhoni gear. Mid-action, helicopter shot, fierce concentration.
And Rajamouli's creative mind instantly superimposes long hair, a beard, and ancient armor over the cricket gear. The physicality is undeniable, but it's the intense, focused presence in Anant's eyes that really catches him.
So he starts digging.
He starts researching Anant's background. He sees the absolute dedication, the grueling professional cricket training for Dhoni, the authentic military training for Yuri.
It's like a master chess player suddenly seeing a move that breaks all the traditional rules of the board. He's contemplating casting the biggest rising Bollywood star to lead a Telugu mythological epic that defies all established regional industry logic.
Totally. But Rajamouli realizes that Anant transcends those regional boundaries because Anant's appeal is based on merit, an insane work ethic, and deeply traditional values. He feels universally Indian, rather than regionally specific to the north.
And the way Rajamouli decides to approach him is the perfect culmination of everything we've discussed today. He makes a decision that shocks even his own wife.
Yeah, he doesn't call Anant's agents.
Nope.
He doesn't set up a slick corporate pitch meeting in some Mumbai high-rise. He decides to travel directly to Delhi on a weekend to pitch this 250 crore epic to Anant at his family's modest restaurant.
He goes to the phenomenon on his home turf.
Because Rajamouli possesses brilliant, intuitive business sense, he understands that to recruit someone who is motivated by craft and family values, you don't show them money or corporate power.
You show them respect for their roots.
Exactly. By bypassing the Mumbai intermediaries and all the industry noise, Rajamouli connects artist to artist.
So what does this all mean for us? We've journeyed from the panicked, opulent boardrooms of Mumbai, where legacy executives are terrified of losing their grip on a century-old monopoly, to a desperate visionary in a sun-baked office in Hyderabad looking for a cinematic miracle.
Yeah.
And connecting all of this is a 22-year-old outsider who simply refused to compromise on his craft, his ethics, or his technological vision.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the broader implication here is that Anant didn't just break the rules of the empire. He exposed a fundamental structural truth. The audience was always hungry for merit, authenticity, and technical excellence over legacy and nepotism.
The gatekeepers only had power as long as everyone collectively agreed to play by their rules.
Right. By stepping entirely outside that system, by being genuinely unbuyable, Anant proved that those traditional power structures were actually incredibly fragile. He built a better, more ethical system parallel to the old one, and the market, the distributors, the public, the global technology partners, and eventually visionary directors like Rajamouli, they all simply migrated over to him.
We've seen how Anant Sharma's uncompromising integrity completely disrupted an entrenched industry. But it leaves you with a lingering thought to ponder. Did Anant succeed because he was superhuman, or did he succeed because the traditional systems of power are actually incredibly fragile the very moment someone refuses to be bought? Think about the industries you interact with daily. The corporate monopolies, the entrenched systems operating on the logic of this is how it's always been done. Who are the unviable outliers waiting to topple those empires, the ones who won't even bother attacking the gates, because they are already building a new, better world outside the walls? Thank you for exploring these sources with us on today's Deep Dive. Until next time.